So welcome. We'll begin with a gentle propping, or gentle or not so gentle. It can be a larger cushion, whatever you like. Whatever, right. And so, ordinarily, I would say any seated position, but today I'm going to ask for this pose that we call Sukhasana, which means it's translated as easy pose, or it can be a pose basically where you seek ease. That's what I would call it. So I won't tell you which leg to cross in front at first. You select that. But I'd like you to aim for a crossing of the shins. Now here you can let the palms rest up or down, again as your preference. But we stack the shoulders over the hips. And we allow the spine to be long. Either you can drop the gaze and gaze slightly in front of you. Let the gaze so the eyes are soft, so the gaze doesn't grasp, but it's receptive. If your eyelids are closed, then we have the same attitude of receptiveness, of inward focus. So whatever you've been doing this morning, whether you've been doing a yang practice or anything else in your morning, we spend these first few moments tuning into the inner experience. The best way to do this is to use the senses. So we can start at the level of the skin. And the texture of the air against the skin, or the clothes, or anything else you can feel. Maybe you can feel the weight of your bones stacking down the way as your hips are held by your blanket or your cushion. You open your ears to the sounds in the space around you. And open your ears to the sounds in the space inside you, meaning the breath. So throughout this practice, as with any yoga practice, the breath is our guide. It's our companion. And it allows us to invite our awareness in. So as you breathe in, feel how the lungs expand. Allowing your attention to come to the very center of you. So perhaps you can allow the attention to come to the space where the heart is, behind the breastbone. And as you breathe in, that space expands. This word sukha, which this posture is named after, it means good space or pleasant space. So we're going to aim to create this pleasant space within. As you allow the breath to circulate around the centre of the body, you can imagine that space expanding and becoming full. Receptive to everything we're going to do. Soften your skin again, let the heart expand. Let your hips be weighty as you exhale. And here, please, can you cross or change the cross of your legs? So you take the other leg in front. So here, take your hands onto your knees, please. And from stillness, we move into some movement for a second. Using that centre of the sternum, we're going to start to draw a little circle. So you let the hips press down into the floor, circling around. So if you're stirring a pot, so you round the back at the back, exhale. Send the heart forward as you inhale. And move slowly. So if you're stirring a pot, it's a pot of maple syrup and molasses mixed together. So that as you stir, you explore. And now the thing is about yin as well, we're not looking for the full 125% range of motion. It's an easeful, smooth thing. So as you have your face soft, as you have your belly soft, start to ease into the velvety sensation of movement. You can go slightly further. Even as the hips press down, your chest goes forward. Maybe leaning back slightly. And then turn around in the other direction. Going forward with the chest and then back again. Letting the breath circulate around these movements. And taking it super sweet, super sweet. Finally, come to settle again in the center. Either let the palms rest on your knees gently as they are, or let the palms face up as you like, and then soften your face again. Let your belly soften again. As we move between stillness and movement, notice the difference between these two states. Throughout the practice, you might notice as well that when we make the body stop moving, loads of stuff inside starts to move, in particular inside the head. So set an intention not to fight what comes, but just to be curious about it. Take another breath as you lengthen the spine. From here, step the feet in front of you. Take the hands behind you. And just for a moment, we're going to let the knees rock side to side, pointing to the left both, and then to the right, again, making it move slowly. Finally, take your feet together so the soles of the feet can touch. Now here again, if you like, you can stay sitting on your prop, or you can be on the floor, your choice. So we're bringing the feet together into a little diamond shape. They're not too close, they're kind of in front of your face, kind of thing. Now take the hands onto the shins, and in the same way we're going to circle into it. So draw your shoulders forward. Smoothly again, easing. Can you swirl the breath around this? And with each breath, we go a little bit further. One more exhale this way. Maybe go the other direction for a breath or two. As you circle into it. And then here, we start to lengthen the spine and then drape ourselves forward. Let the head hang. So here your hands, you can choose where they are. You can let the palms be facing up in a receptive way. Or you can let the palms rest down. Letting the head hang in space is totally fine. Unlike a yang practice where we aim for a really long spine, here we actually want the back to just curve and take its own space. We let the hips be weighty. And we welcome a softening around the shoulders. So here, as we settle again into a still space, can we let that inner gaze start to soften? So that we can observe. So as you let the breath ripple across the surface of your back, melting your skin, melting your shoulders, you can allow gravity to act on your hips. And as a slight tugging happens throughout the whole back surface of you, the front surface has a yielding in it. So here, in the same way, the breath expands the heart and makes it spacious. Even though we're folding forward, the back of the heart can open. And in this space, everything resounds and echoes. So notice what comes. As you start to feel sensation, this is this magic of stillness. We assume that it's empty, but you can see that it's really not. You can observe how the breath has changed. How the sensations in the body change. How things start to talk to you, perhaps. And can we welcome whatever it is into this space? For the last two breaths, can you let everything soften even more? As you inhale, let the back of you be filled up with the breath. As it starts to lift the back of you, you can start to walk the hands back. So the back of your body puffs up and lifts you, the power of your back muscles. So you start to draw yourself back up. The hands can come behind you as you again take the soles of the feet to the floor. Let the knees point in. Oh, unravel. Just a couple of times, and then cross the shins, please. And then place the hands down onto the floor. We'll step the feet one at a time back into a downward facing dog shape. So again, don't worry too much about how your down dog looks. It's more about having the opportunity to pedal out the feet, pointing one hip up towards the ceiling, and then the other. Decompress the spine and let the space between your crown and your pelvis lengthen. Press the hands and take the left leg towards the ceiling. So we're going to lift the leg up, and then exhale, rock yourself forward and place the foot down onto the floor. So we're in a little lunge, and we're going to take your cushion or blanket and place it underneath your knee. So here, we're going to give you a few options. So unlike in a yang practice, we're going to have the foot slightly closer in because the knee can go beyond the ankle here. That's totally allowed and in fact encouraged. What I do want you to do, however, is support yourself with the hands in such a way that you're not going to drop down too much. We're going to start to find sensation in the front of the hip here, but not in a way that's going to be jangly. So first of all, the option is to have the hands on your knee like this. And this might be enough. So as you let the hips droop forward, you can let the sole of the left foot support you on the floor. You can allow the breath now to circulate around this shape. If you like, the hands can be on the floor on the inside of the foot here in the same way. And if you do have blocks, then this is a place where you can have them. The main aim here to be finding a space that is about 60% or maybe even less than that of your full range of motion, because the aim is not to go, oh my god, no. It's more like, can you invite some sensation into the body, or rather allow the body to unfold into it? So exert some moderation. When we talk about the center, staying in the center of you, staying in a place of stillness, it's about applying some kindness. Yeah, so you can stay up like this, that's fine. Here, I mean, it's not, the thing is that going deeper doesn't, going into what is so-called, more forward form doesn't mean you're going to learn necessarily more about yourself here. Because what I'd like you to do is find a place where you can settle. And then let your body talk to you. So as gravity acts on the hips, as the floor holds your left foot, how does the breath wash through you in this shape? And notice, as you listen in, how things start to talk to you. Maybe it's louder. If you've got your hands on the knee, take it down towards the floor. Left hand is going to stay on your left knee. Right hand will stay on the floor. Lift your left toes and point them out 45 degrees to the outside edge of your mat. The left knee is going to point in the same direction as your second toe. And here you can start to guide the knee out slightly as your right hand stays on the floor. Here we can lean back slightly with the heart as we look up towards the left hand corner of the room. Just for a breath or two, start to lean down and let gravity hold the pelvis. Left heel is still grounded into the earth. But here, allow your breath to lift up behind the heart so you can spiral around towards the sky more. Effort here not in going deep in towards the hips, but more like, how can you softly hold the body from the inside using the breath? And let that inhale expand the heart again, even as it rotates around. Take one more inhale here and let it be full. As you exhale, take the left hand back down towards the floor and spin the left foot back. I'm going to step the left knee back and then send the hips towards the sky for a down dog for just 1 second, bending left knee and then right. So we point, when I say bend the knee, we think about pointing the hips even up towards the sky. So we unravel the pelvis. Press the hands again. Let's reach the right foot towards the ceiling. As you exhale, go forward and step that foot towards the front of the mat. We'll nestle the left knee down onto your blanket or cushion again. And here we come into our shape, our lunge shape on this side. So in the Yin tradition, this posture is known as dragons. And you can see maybe why, because it's already a spicy place that talks to you. So your hands can be either on the floor or on your shin. So you probably already learned something from the first side. But even more than that, you can also respond to what's fresh on this side of the body. So I'm waiting for stillness in the outside world so that I can say, listen. So you can start to leave the world. The world doesn't stop, even though we are doing yoga or Indian yoga. So we can intend to, now that we can intend to draw the attention back inwards again. So let the hands either rest on the knee or on the inside of the foot, your choice. But that right heel is going to support you as you start to let the hips be heavy. And wherever you land somewhere and then set the intention to soften. So wherever the heaviness comes for you, you can enjoy that. Let the breath move around the places where there's movement, and let it move around the places where there's less movement. Explore how lovely it is to allow gravity to act on you. Something we don't do that often. And in this space, what reveals itself? So the dragons can be loud. What is speaking to you loudly? Keep your left hand on the floor if your hands are on the floor. If your hands are on your knee, keep your right hand there. We'll have the left hand on the floor and the right hand on the right knee as the right toes point out 45 degrees towards the right. Here the right knee will point towards the second toe as we start to allow that to open. And the right hand can be a gentle weight on that right upper thigh. Then we allow the back of the heart to lift using the breath as we spiral around towards the side. The foot is held by the earth. You are held by your breath. So even though, we're still using slight effort to kind of make ourselves be held here, because we're not going to collapse completely. This is part of the listening game. So as the breath comes in, as it comes out, as you soften, we're listening. Where am I held by my tissues in a safe way? Where do I really want to make more space? Where do I really want to pull back? Where can I listen? Press your left hand down, take your right knee back in, guide the right foot back towards the centre. Place your right hand down and we'll step back, downward facing dog for 1 second. Pedal out the feet. Take a big breath, please, and to fill up the lungs. And as you exhale, let the belly come back towards the thighs, emptying out the navel so that the belly and the thighs come close towards each other. We close that angle. Next inhale, we'll take the knees down towards the floor and then find a child's pose. So the hands can come in front, you can make a little cushion for the head. We close here the angle between the belly and the thighs completely. So your knees can be together or wide, your choice. So we here come back towards the earth. After a spicy, jangly excursion around the hips. Now is even more important, actually. It's that place where we come back into the centre. So as you allow the breath to come in, you can feel that expansion of the lungs, feel how it makes things press against things, belly and thighs move together. As you exhale, things come back in towards the centre, the navel wraps towards the spinal column. And here the body can drip down towards the floor and absorb that subtle stuff that we learn in these yin postures. It's not as black and white, it's not as bright in colour as the stuff we get from yang. That probably makes it even more valuable as we get into the subtle layers. So absorb, take it in. Inhale, start to look forward towards your hands. We're going to come onto the belly here. So I'm going to make my situation a little bit prompt. But here I can offer you, if you have a blanket or a cushion, you can place it underneath your elbows here, if that's comfortable for you. So we come down onto the belly. Now, I'd like the shoulders to be behind the elbows, so the elbows come a little bit forward. You come into this little sphinx shape. So you maybe don't need the cushion underneath your elbows. See what works for you. But let the legs extend. And here, your weight will be held by your elbows, and that's why we take them slightly forward of the shoulders, so it's not too much going down, pressing into the earth. The palms of the hands can be receptive. The skin can connect with the mat to remind you to bring your attention inwards via the senses. And here, as you breathe in, you can allow the lungs to expand even more. You can make a choice with the head. You can either let it be an extension of the spine, still looking slightly forward, Or if you like, you can let the head drip down so that the shoulders drip down as well. But here in the same way, we marinate in this shape by filling it with breath. And we start to seek for expansion through the heart at the back of the body. So here maybe you can close your eyes. Let your pelvis be heavy against the floor. And let your torso be held as you breathe. So your attention washes around this shape. Perhaps the breath cascades down the back, making little eddies around the lower back as it swirls down the sides of the sacrum. Take one more inhale to fill your lungs, and let the two lungs, as they expand, embrace your heart. From there, you take the hands underneath the shoulders and start to walk yourself back. And we'll press back for just a breath or two again into child's pose as we unravel that back bend. Here in particular, let your shoulders soften. As we fold back inwards again. Even after the gentle expansion of a back bend. Come forward, please. Keep the knees underneath your hips. We'll come into a tabletop shape. Now the right hand will press down. I'd like you, as you inhale, to reach your left hand towards the ceiling. As you spiral the heart towards the sky. Here, as you exhale, take your hand and thread it underneath the right armpit. So the left ear will come to the floor. And here the shoulder can shrug down and ease into the earth. Now here you have two choices. You can stay with the right hand exactly where it is, or you can reach it forward to extend to the front of the mat. Maybe resting on the fingertips. You let the floor hold your shoulder here. So whether your hand is resting or is extended forward, either way, we breathe so much into the right lung, letting the heart start to spin again. So even as we rotate around an axis here, we're looking for that still spaciousness at the center of the heart. The aim is always to cultivate this stillness at the balance. This is why we twist left to right. We take the body through strange shapes whether we're exerting effort or allowing gravity to work. So that no matter what's happening outside in the world, we can keep this stability inside. And it comes from that fullness of the breath. So soften into that ease space. Let any of the sharper corners of this shape for you soften off as you take another breath in. As you exhale, release something. If your right hand was forward, you can take it back and press it down. And then we can use that to unravel as you take the left hand back up towards the ceiling and open stack of the left shoulder over the right. So we exhale, we'll take the left hand back down again and we'll swap over. Take the right hand towards the sky now. So already here we're doing that same thing, opening the heart up towards the ceiling, filling up with breath. As you exhale, we thread the right back of hand down towards the floor, the right shoulder down. So again, here you can stay, or if you'd like, you can reach the left hand forward. You let the weight of the bones be held by the floor. So the softest parts of you, the heart and the lungs, which are protected by your rib cage, they can get so much expansion. So what else can you soften? What can you fill with the warmth of the breath? Are there any other things that you can let go of here to create that ease, and that stability in the center of you, so that you can be so unflappable? Inhale, if your left hand is forward, take it back, press it down. Wherever we are, the left hand presses down so we unravel the right hand towards the sky. Then exhale, take both hands down. For one breath, you send the heart forward. Send the breath all the way down to the base of the belly. Exhale, we round, take the tailbone down and the chin in towards the chest as you let the shoulders move away from each other. Here again, we'll take the hands, press them into the floor. Tuck the toes underneath and lift back for downward facing dog, please. Inhale, reach your left leg towards the sky. And then as you exhale, draw the knee forward. I'm going to place it down with care onto the floor. So the left heel is going to be in front of the right hip. Now here, in an active way, we would take the foot forward. We're not going to do that. We're going to keep the heel close in towards the right hip, but let the left knee point out towards the outside edge of the mat. Here we walk the right foot back. So we come into this, in Yang it's known as pigeon, in Yin we call it the swan. Now here, we would like to be supported. So you can take a cushion and probably put it underneath your left tushy here. Be well supported. You can even maybe let it come underneath the whole of the pelvis. And then let the right foot rest, pointed back behind you. From here we will fold. And let it be the forearms first. So it can be like the Sphinx where we spent some time. Or if you like, we can add that twist which we just did here. If you'd like to do that, we can reach the right hand forward. And then the left back of hand comes underneath, so the left ear comes down towards the floor. Actually, what would be quite nice here is you could place, if you have a block or a cushion, underneath your head. So we have loads of different options here. The Sphinx can be upright, or you can find an arrangement with a twist. What you could also do is let the head rest in the left hand as you twist around to the side here. Let's sink into this position for a few moments. In the hips we make discoveries, but having the heart open here, so either staying on the elbows or making that rotation. I want to add in the welcoming softening of the heart. So if you stay in a space where the lungs can feel this expansion and create this space inside, so really doing many things at once here, exploring and yet softening. Really, it's a very courageous practice, yin, especially compared to yang, because you put yourself into a shape and then you welcome in everything that comes with it. You can't hide from what comes up in the body here. Even more than that, you can't hide from what springs up in the mind and in the heart. But we know in the yoga practice, and we learn this, that the best way to deal with what comes is to welcome it and to soften into it. And to listen. So whatever is with you now, take a breath and absorb it. Walk your hands closer towards you wherever you are, whatever variation you came into. And then walk your back foot in so that you have some leverage. We're going to press both hands to lift yourself up off the floor and step the left foot back. Maybe take it straight up into the air as a three-legged dog, and then give that left leg a shake. To shake off exactly what we just were finding. Place the foot back down onto the floor. And then we'll reach the right leg towards the ceiling. As you exhale, take the knee forward towards the wrist. And here again, we'll arrange ourselves. Take a little minute to get the props that we need so we feel comfortable in our swan pigeon arrangement. So maybe a prop underneath your tushy here. Maybe it goes all the way underneath. Let the right knee point out towards the right. Here again we lengthen. So even though we're exploring the hips, we look always for that spaciousness in the chest. Here either we can take the elbows to the floor, we can let the head rest in the right hand if you like, finding that spinning of the heart towards the sky. Or if you like, we can do this twisted variation with the right shoulder coming down towards right knee. whichever variation you have selected, then we commit to it. We commit to it by agreeing to it with the body. So as you have this arrangement, how can you explore it with the breath? In the quiet, in the stillness that we cultivate. What can we observe? Courageously, when we look into the dark, if we think of the hips as the cellar of your body, where we carry all of our souvenirs, when we look into that space, can sometimes discover hidden jewels. To allow the breath to soften even more. You can perhaps welcome those discoveries. Take one more warm breath here. Start to walk your hands back. Take them in close to you. And then we hug everything back in again. As we press the left toes down into the floor. Press the hands down. You can reach the right leg towards the sky. And again, give it a shake. Making any other movements with the hip that you would fancy. And then as you exhale, place both feet down onto the floor and pedal them out. Here we're going to let the knees drop down. And for the last shape of today's practice, we'll walk the hands forward. Now here, if you have a cushion or a block, you can place it underneath your head. So we start to let ourselves come down with the chest towards the floor. Maybe show it like this. So you can let this be the cushion or whatever it is underneath your head if you like. Or you could let it be underneath your forearms, so the arms are not so close to the floor. Maybe, so also, if the hands close together creates pinching around the neck, I want you to take the hands off the mat, thumbs on, fingers off, maybe fingers facing out. Make space for the shoulders. The aim in the practice never being I'm going to force myself into the shape. If it kills me, the exact opposite. We're going to make space for everything that is inside to unfold. And more than ever, we want to allow the breath to be so full. So knowing that the lungs go all the way up to the back where the trapezius is, if you can make space for the shoulders so the breath can fill up there. And here finally we really, really melt with the heart. So having welcomed gravity in, having welcomed slowness and stillness in, we've cleared the way for the expansion of the heart to take over. Your lungs fill. You can see how they expand and how that's softening. That easeful space at the center of you can grow and take up the whole of you. So we set an intention of ease and well-being to vibrate through every single cell. Beginning at the beginning of the breath, and yet going beyond the limits of the breath. So that you can become limitless. Let your next inhale be the deepest one yet. And let the exhale tone the navel. So you hug things back in towards the center of you. Here you can start to walk the hands back towards you. Bend the knees for a second and let yourself rest in a child's pose as the belly and thighs come to touch. Let shoulders drip away from each other. Let pelvis be heavy. Then as you start to walk the hands back towards you, we'll arrange yourselves onto the floor. So take the hips down, take the pelvis down, and here you can arrange yourself to find your most open and delicious Shavasana yet. So what can you do? You can let a cushion come underneath your pelvis. You can let another cushion come underneath your head. You can have your blanket rolled up like a sausage and place it behind the backs of the knees. Anything that you like. Palms should face up, not should. I invite the palms to face up just so that your receptive mode can stay open for the next few moments. Support yourself well. And of course get cozy with any other extra clothes that you need. Now finally take another big breath from the soles of the feet. all the way to the top of the head. And as you exhale, let the body be released into the floor. As the heels, the pelvis, the backs of the shoulders and the back of the head get so weighty, you can let the skin soften and let your attention come back again to the center of the heart. This space so soft and spacious. We have now this still space that we can inhabit. This steadiness from where we can watch the dance of life going on in the body. Can savor that subtle aftertaste of the nervous system arranging all the information. The rearrangement of your connective tissues. And the energy flowing differently around the lines of your body now, maybe. All of that goes on and you can just stand in the middle of it and observe. From the space behind the navel, let your breath again originate and fill your body. Let that breath find your outline again as you come back into the room. The exhale can draw you back all the way to the spine. So you have this center. Again, let your inhale fill your lungs. And let your exhale wrap you around that space at the center of the heart. Let it be, or rather, let it be a reminder of this beautiful home that you have, this still point that you can return to at any time. We implant the memory of all this softness in the body that we can cultivate no matter what's going on in the world. This is what allows us to meet challenges with grace. To take another breath to gather yourself up. As you exhale, draw your knees in and wrap your physical body around your center. From here you can roll over to the side and use the hands on the floor to press back up to sit, and we'll close the practice together. So take a breath along the spine, lengthen it, hold it, expand it. Find a side to exhale, let go. One more time, we gather ourselves, inhale. Bow to seal the practice. Hold that spaciousness, that stillness in your heart. Om Shanti. So, okay, up.